Hey everybody, welcome back to Guys Night Lab. I'm Jesus Velasquez.
I'm Jordan Zacharias.
And today we're going to be talking about Halloween 2018.
Yes.
So if you've seen in our previous episode, we talked about the history of Halloween. Mm-hmm. So today we're talking about it's not a remake, or I guess it's a reboot, reset again.
But technically also a sequel.
Yes, it's like a sequel reset. It's an interesting take on it, but it's a Halloween. It's not Halloween 2, Halloween 3, whatever. It's just called Halloween, but kind of with the 2018 tag.
Which there's three of them, technically. There's the original, the Rob Zombie, and this one.
That's true. So they're all named Halloween, but they're different. The original, 78, the Rob Zombie one, 2007, and then this one, 2018.
Yep.
But anyways, so this one takes place right after part one. Well, not right after. It takes place, I guess, 40 years after part one. Is it 40 years or 50 years?
I think somewhere around there. But the point is that the rest after one don't count.
That's right. One. So like we said before, the Revenge, the Curse, the Return, Halloween 2, Curse of Michael, whatever. All that, H2O, none of those matter. It's just this one. I really, really, really like this movie.
Yeah.
I saw it when it first came out. We saw it when it first came out. And then I just saw it recently, like a few days ago or last week. And I still like it. It's really good. I mean, to think of it, it's actually a 5-year-old movie now, which isn't old.
I know,
but
that's weird.
It's older in a sense. But I think it pays homage to the original and kind of does little tropes like that. But overall, I think it's a good movie. Like, what do you think?
To me, hands down, this is the best of the newer trilogy. But I don't know. I watched it a second time a couple of years ago, and I didn't like it as much as the first time I saw it in the theater. I think it's a movie that has really good scenes, if that makes sense. But I think overall, like the weird story with the doctor and the sheriff and stuff, it kind of veers off into the gutter a little bit. But the idea of how they established Michael, I like that Laurie is prepared this time and trying to defend herself. She's been waiting all these years for Michael to come back.
Yeah, that's true.
Even when everyone's like, no, he's locked up, he's gone forever. And she was like, she's still training with firearms and stuff. Yeah. But I think this is the best of the new trilogy in my mind by far. The other two we'll get into. But I think they did an okay job with this. Again, it has some great scenes. The bathroom scene, by far the most effective scene is the bus. The bus scene in the highway at night where it's pulled over. Obviously, he's escaped. He's gotten loose, and this kid and his dad roll up. It's such an intense scene. It's so gnarly. It has some really good effective scenes in the movie. I just think they kind of missed the overall tone with it, where there was a little bit of humor and they had some good scenes, but overall, maybe give it a B, something like that.
I thought, so I liked it because I do agree with the doctor. So there's some spoilers here if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, definitely take it or watch it because it's a great movie.
Oh yeah, you got to see it.
But so I like the setup, the beginning. So we have like the podcasters. Oh gosh. But they're like doing like a podcast or kind of like a article or whatever, documentary on Michael. And so they're looking for Laurie Strode. They go to Michael and like the insane asylum. And it kind of follows them and you think like they're kind of like this kind of new protagonist or whatever.
Well, like they're going to carry out through the whole movie.
Through the whole movie. So, I mean, spoiler alert, that doesn't happen.
Right.
But then we go back to Laurie. So obviously she's our scream queen, our protagonist, and we go for her. We find her daughter. And the daughter's married and she has the daughter has a daughter, so Laurie Strode has a granddaughter. And you find out that the daughter is like is it called a survivalist? Like where like Laurie Strode has been training her all how to use a gun, how to fight, how to survive in the wild, how to survive from any attackers.
Or at least she did as she was raising her, and then now her mom and her have a rift though, because she's like, my mom's crazy. She was prepping me for all this BS about Michael coming back. You got to be ready. You got to be trained with weapons, stuff like that. But in the end, it ends up actually paying off for her.
That's right. So she's like, because she's living in a nice suburban house whatever in the suburbs. So anyways, the movie goes along. There's a lot of great I think there's a lot of great side characters. So it makes it really good where like you're like, oh, I'm invested in this character somewhat, like like the daughter Laurie, the granddaughter, even like the wacky sidekick, lovable third wheel friend. You're kind of rooting for him, but whatever.
You care about the characters in this one way more than the Rob Zombie.
Yes,
movies.
absolutely. So you're invested in them. There's a lot of great kills. There's that one scene when it's Halloween night, and it's almost like one whole shot for like almost 5 minutes. It's a pretty sweet shot. It's creepy. The atmosphere is great.
Yeah.
The one, I guess, hiccup, what Jordan said, is the doctor. So even in the movie, Laurie says, because there's this doctor and he's like, he's infatuated with Michael, or he's Michael's patient. And then Laurie says,
or he's Michael's doctor.
Michael's doctor, sorry, not patient. And so, Dr. Michael. And so Laurie's like, she's like, oh, so you're the new Loomis.
Right.
So it's like kind of implying that he's kind of like the Loomis character, like the psychological character. But spoiler alert, here you go again, 3, 2, 1. You're right. I saw it again and I didn't like this. Like this served no purpose.
The second act in the movie, I feel like, kind of falls apart a little bit.
Yeah.
But the bookends are really good. The first and third act.
So in the movie, you find out that the doctor is the one that like crashed the bus, and got Michael released because he was so infatuated with Michael and he wanted to see Michael interact with Laurie, because that was all the stories he heard from Loomis's files and everything. So he was just infatuated with this idea, and so he let Michael escape and all this stuff, and then he like kills the sheriff, and then
Michael, again, spoilers, but
Spoiler.
Michael immediately wipes him out.
Yeah, so there's no point. But it's like, and the thing is, like, Michael didn't really need him, I guess, in a sense, to do any of his killings or stuff like that. And like, we didn't need another like villain when we got Michael. Like, you don't need a double villain in the movie. Like, I would have thought it would be way cooler if he was actually like a Loomis character in a sense. Like, he was a psychological, like, hey, this is what I think where Michael's going to go next, or whatever.
Or even if they'd kept the podcasters throughout the movie instead of having his character.
Yeah, like, they didn't need him. Like, the podcasters, you could have done something great with that. We're just like, hey, like, we researched this and this is what we found out. Or maybe there's a secret twist of someone else who interacted with Michael in the part 1 or whatever. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah.
So anyways, like you said, the bookends, intro, the middle, second, the end of the second act gets a little shady, hazy, but the third act, when Michael goes to the farmhouse where Laurie's living, that's the meat and potatoes.
Yep.
It's great. The setup's great. That fight with her and Michael is awesome. And then like the twist at the end, with the daughter and her and capturing Michael, like, that was awesome.
Well, and also I just want to say too, the Jamie Lee, I forget who it is, Judy Greer or whoever plays her daughter, and then the actress who plays her granddaughter, which I don't know her name, but the three of them are actually really good main characters in this movie. And I'm saying actually, like, I doubted that, but I was like, well, let's see where they go with the story. And the way they set up the trilogy, I was like, this is great.
Oh, for sure. And here's the thing, like, I thought, like, I always said, like, and probably other podcasts or other episodes where I said, you know, I've always wanted to make movies that were called like endings, you know, like Friday the 13th never got like an official ending, or Halloween or whatever. I thought this was a pretty good ending. Like, they kind of wrapped it up, that, you know, how they got Michael, how they captured him, how they quote unquote kill him. And it was like a good wrap up. Like, this would have been a good ending, like, done. You know, obviously there's sequels in the trilogy.
Money to be made.
Yeah, but there was no necessity. It could just be the last one.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I do like this one. It's entertaining. It does kind of fall into the Halloween tradition now.
Right.
It doesn't hold up to like the original, but definitely better than you know, the Rob Zombie remakes, the H2O. For me, I like it better than H2O and Resurrection and Curse.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, for sure.
But it's definitely up there. It's a better not to say version, but entry of the Halloween series.
Yeah, so I agree. I think they did a good job with this one. Like I said, they just veered off with the second act and with the doctor part, but I think overall they did a good job with it. I love the actor who plays Michael. You know, they did a great job with the atmosphere. Like you said, Halloween night, long, you know, tracking shots as Michael's going through a neighborhood and stuff that are awesome. But I just felt like they kind of fell flat with what they could have done with the story to reintroduce people to Michael Myers after years. Or maybe this is sometimes some kids, you know, if they're just old enough to see it, this is their first viewing of Michael. It's like, they could have done better. But anyway, light years above the next two in the trilogy, in my opinion. And light years better than Curse, light years better than Resurrection, things like that. So it's not a bad entry.
The complaining for this one is going to be very light, because the next two, unfortunately, like I said, this one could have just ended the series and it would have ended on top. Yeah. Even with the flaws that it has, it's a great movie. It has some flaws, but it would have ended on top if this was the last one. But unfortunately, it's not. So stay tuned for our next review of Halloween Kills.